idea of a comprehensive digital transformation is a global world trend. Today, more than 15 countries with developed and developing economies are implementing national programs for the transition to more innovative and advanced government models. Kazakhstan keeps up the pace with world trends. Digital Kazakhstan program was launched in Kazakhstan, which covers all important economic aspects. Being the most priority project, Astana Hub International Technopark of IT startups is identified as one of the drivers of the state program. It is also called the Kazakh version of the famous Silicon Valley. In state program, Astana Hub is designated as an icebreaker. Why do they call it as the icebreaker? Why such an important role is given to Astana Hub? The answer is that we are a platform for attracting entrepreneurs and start-uppers. As you know, digital innovations cannot be effectively implemented without participation of market, business. So it is a hub for the meeting of various players of IT market, state, etc. The experience of such countries as Israel, Singapore, Russia and Belarus was adopted in the creation of this technopark. And the key goal of its operation is to help young companies build a successful technology business. The first and the main branch of Astana Hub activity is an educational unit, which consists of a number of courses and activities for obtaining basic skills in IT sphere. The next is a program of incubation and acceleration, in other words, an intensive 9-month course for the creation of projects and their further development. Another branch of activity is the provision of so-called working platform and technological infrastructure of the hub, where start-uppers receive special equipment for free use for research and development works of their business. After passing Astana Hub programs, we understand that the number of successful cases, examples, technology companies born in Kazakhstan will increase. From a structural point of view, everything's quite simple here. We see players who implement their specific tasks, but at the same time they help each other. In addition, there are various tax preferences for start-uppers in terms of a reduction in mandatory payments to the budget. For foreign developers, there are so-called startup visas, thanks to which it is much easier to get the entry permit. The next direction will be the launch of English Common Law program, thanks to which startups and companies will solve legal issues by international standards. Experts are sure that following the world trends will give Astana Hub an opportunity to integrate more closely into the global innovation activity. It is important to note here that labor and visa benefits have already been introduced for the participants of Astana Hub. Today we are an international technopark of IT startups. We're open to talents and entrepreneurs from all over the world. At the premises of the Technopark, a co-investment fund has also been created to attract both national and private foreign investors. To this end, in addition to flexible legislation, the availability of government support mechanisms, and a simplified scheme of tax preferences, a crowdfunding mechanism is introduced where developers can be assisted by ordinary people by donating a certain amount of money for project development. In addition, there is freedom of participation of so-called business angels. In other words, there are wealthy individuals who are interested in developing of IT direction and are ready to finance certain projects. We are also planning to develop business angels in Kazakhstan. That is, to create an association of business angels, which will help in the future those start-uppers who learned and passed the acceleration program and specific courses. We want them to get so-called angels who could lead them further and develop this business, invest money there, and bring them to the international market, so that they develop further. And the premises of Astana Hub, they had already carried out 2 stages of accelerating startup projects. In total, more than 500 projects were accepted, but more than 70 participants made the cut. Some of them have already received funding from investors for further development. The amount of investment varies from several thousand to $2 million. In general, the initiated events attracted about 70 billion tenge to startups from local and foreign philanthropists. According to the plans of Hub management, educational programs of the Technopark should pass about 100 developers annually, which will attract more than $1 billion already by 2025. The task is to become such a site, competence center, namely for entrepreneurial-oriented teams in IT sphere. It is necessary to understand that we speak not only about innovative technologies, inventions as is, but also about working experiments on new business models. The basis for the future unicorn of Kazakhstan can be e-commerce. Today, 25 people are involved in Technopark. These are programmers, digital marketing managers, analysts, designers, content managers, and business mentors. In order to become a participant in the acceleration program, it is necessary to register on official website, while the procedure for selecting participants takes place in several stages. The project direction is determined by the developers themselves, depending on their specialization and past working experience. Preference is given to digital projects from such fields as Internet of Things, e-commerce, educational technologies, information security, big data, and machine learning. The fields of advertising and marketing, digitalization, development of online and mobile games and applications, artificial intelligence, augmented and virtual reality are also strategic. We are building the ecosystem by attracting the market, international experts, those people who faced it directly and help the young people who want to develop, build something new, implement their ideas, that is, build some kind of safe that is phased, stepped-up approach. Experts assure that in order to launch a startup, it is not necessary to have a diploma of higher education in IT sphere. For example, Ayjas Kolybayev proved this. Having 5 years of experience in spare parts sales market, he invented and created a marketplace for buying and searching for parts for special equipment. More than 175 companies are already using this project. We help construction and road construction companies, agricultural enterprises and mining companies that have their technological park and accounting of each of the special machines. How do we help them to keep records? We're using 3 indicators: the ratio of using park, the technical availability ratio, and the ratio of equipment access to the line. For each of these special machines, we create a register, and here support services records are kept. In addition, we help to predict future service works. For example, when certain spare parts break down, you can look at our service. Another project is corporate and platform software, which is a service for entrepreneurs applying a special tax regime based on a simplified declaration. We provide a tool in which the entrepreneur creates all his documents. The system offers him to download them according to the templates approved by the Minister of Finance, and on the basis of these documents, the monthly taxes are calculated. The 910th declaration is formed, which the entrepreneur passes once a half year. Among the successful projects that attracted investment is a portable projector with a computer. Visually, it looks like a box that projects the screen and keyboard in front of the user. The device can be controlled using gestures, which let to remove, move, or minimize the work window. Today, over 4,000 business incubators operate in the world. There are more than 50 business incubators in Kazakhstan. State accelerators, incubators, private agencies as NATD work in one direction. They supplement each other. Our opinion is that the more such players will be, the more opportunities and choices will be for youth startups. In London, there are only more than 100 incubators. Thereby, the guys have the opportunity to realize where to go and to look. They can understand who will be able to help. At present, the state is facing the goal of increasing the innovative activity of enterprises in the Republic. especially small and medium-sized enterprises. In Kazakhstan, a program for supporting business incubation was developed in order to support technological entrepreneurship within Business Roadmap 2020 single program. The operator for the implementation of this initiative is the National Agency for Technological Development. There will be a task for the incubators to fulfill certain KPIs. That is, they will have to reach our targets for the selection of business and startup projects, for their acceleration and bringing to the financing stage. Next year, it is planned to issue grants to these business incubators. That is, if any startup project has a good idea, it will pass this selection and become a resident of this incubator. It can apply for state grants. The goal of Kazakhstan incubators is to gather unicorn. It can be a company valued at $1 billion or more. According to experts, the accelerators of the Republic have all the possibilities for this. A matter of time remains unclear. Indeed, among all the world's companies with a billion-dollar budget, the fastest-growing unicorn status was achieved by Jet.com online store. It took only 4 months. The well-known Uber startup has reached these figures in 4.5 years. The Russian marketplace Avito took 7 years. If we compare with established markets like Western Europe, United States, and look on the part of the state, we introduce changes more quickly if we look from the business point of view. Business, for example, business in Western Europe or the United States is much more dynamic than ours is. If we look globally, acceleration is faster and we're lagging behind from the business point of view. But again, the fact that there is less money in the economy, the price of a barrel of oil decreases, the country's liquidity decreases, bank lending is inaccessible. All this makes private business operate more efficiently. And look for this efficiency, including in information technology. We're moving progressively, but we're clearly not leaders or laggards. Leading experts note that venture environment and startups development in Kazakhstan differs from the markets of Europe and the United States by the fact that in these countries investment funds compete for ideas and startups. And in Kazakhstan, the situation is reversed. There are many projects that no one has ever done, and they only start to open the spigots on. We're moving in the same direction. We're building similar KPIs and are very pleased that our colleagues are also working according to the methods we work. We're using the same lean startup and Kazakh development. In this regard, I think that Kazakhstan infrastructure will have a promising future. Recently, technology development is moving exponentially. Every decade and every year, the creative community creates incomparably more than before. I think that in the near future, a person will be assigned the role of such a creator, who will come up with certain specific things, and artificial intelligence machines already solve most machine work. This progress will continue to develop more and more. The race for the right to become a digital power is gaining momentum. China is spending trillions of dollars on the artificial intelligence development. Moreover, Israel has already taken a leading position in the development of innovation, outstripping even the USA in view of the introduction of giant startups. As a whole, the world strives for singularity. Singularity is a point in technology development where humankind can no longer predict what will happen. Let's say that if today we can predict that artificial intelligence will begin to be introduced by 2030, half of the professions will be digitized and replaced by robots in 2050. So in 2090 there will be a strong artificial intelligence that takes possession of the world. Then we can predict these things. But in general, the technologies are developing so quickly that after a certain time, we won't be able to predict anything. That is, the world strives to this point of singularity. It is not an easy task to make Kazakhstan the center of digital innovative solutions. The world's first technopark was established in 1951 in the United States. Moreover, the technoparks in Singapore and Korea were created more than 30 years ago. Experts are sure that based on its experience, Kazakhstan will be able to effectively develop a startup ecosystem in a short time. And the main drivers for achieving the targets will be already operating IT sites and state support.